When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. Obaseki Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com.
A very good evening to you, and thanks for joining us again tonight on your one and only program, Truth and Justice with Dr. Jennifer Obaseki. I'm your host, Esther Olufunmi, and tonight we'll be talking about this serious topic, business. Wow, business in the UK, in any part of the world. Business is our topic today. You know, we would drive it in ways that would benefit you. It will definitely benefit you one way or the other. Call your friends and family members to quickly, join us tonight, and I can bet it with you that you will enjoy tonight's show. I've got a business icon in the house with us tonight. I've got your sweetheart, Dr. Jennifer Obaseki, with me as well, so I'm not here alone, and I've got, like I said, a business icon with us. I can promise you tonight's show will be a great one. I'm gonna shop break, and when we return, we kick the ball rolling. Don't touch that dial.
When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. Obaseki Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com.
Thanks for staying with us. Welcome with me tonight, your award-winning lawyer, the one and only Dr. Jennifer Obaseki. Hey, hello, sweetheart.
Hey, good evening, Esther. How are you?
Very well. Yourself?
Oh, wonderful.
Happy to be here again tonight?
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to tonight's show. We had a great one last week.
Yes, indeed, with our lovely guest, Sina. And this week we have another amazing guest for you. He is known throughout the field of business.
Yeah.
He's a mentor. He is an excellent consultant. He's an author.
Wow.
And we're talking about the one and only Sam Onibanjo.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you.
You are a man that wears the coat of many colors, so to speak.
Indeed, that's me.
Oh, so who is Sam Onibanjo?
Well, Sam is a quiet guy, very hardworking businessman. I think what's really important about it is that at my heart is my passion to serve. Everything I do in business is about service. There are 2 or 3 businesses I'm known for in this country. For the ladies and the ladies out there, if you've heard of Women for Africa, then I'm the co-founder of that. And that's because even though I'm a man, I know that it's a good thing to serve our women. And 2, I'm very passionate about our continent, which is Africa. Thank you.
It is as it.
Thank you.
There is this saying that the only way to the top is through service, really.
That's it.
And not only that, most of our women in faith, many of them think about, not outshining their husband. Many of them are afraid to step into the light. But when you have this level of encouragement from a man that stands there, says, no, women need to be applauded, need to be celebrated, need to to be encouraged. It's excellent. Behind every successful woman, there's usually a
A
very
strong
supportive man.
And Mr. Onibanjo is one.
And he's one who supports not just his Women for Africa event and business, celebrating women who've done achievements, but in the community, he's out there supporting women that are in business.
We celebrate you.
We
celebrate you.
We celebrate you.
Thank you.
We celebrate you. So tell us about you. What do you do really?
Well, apart from the Women for Africa, which is a massive platform, business-wise in this country, I have an organization called Great Business Platforms. That again is designed to actually celebrate and elevate people that are doing exceedingly well in business.
Okay.
So we coach business leaders, and in this cutting age, if you've heard this slogan, "Wake up! It's a digital evolution." Everything's changing. So our main thrust is teaching people how to apply digital technology to their business.
Wow.
You have a business, it's fantastic, but if you are going to make that next zero behind your check or behind your transfer, you have to go digital. Digital helps you to scale. It helps you with automations. It helps you cut down staff costs, and it helps you cut down the cost of business. So if you want to really do business, you have to go digital. So digital isn't just social media. It's a complete digital transformation, and that's what we help our clients do.
Wow, we'll be hearing a lot about digital branding from Mr. Sam tonight. Dr. Jennifer, give us a bit of background to this nice topic of business we're discussing tonight.
Now, you see, many of us nowadays, we are looking at this gig industry, the days of having a job for life and getting your pension have kind of gone.
It's over. It's over.
And even if you've got that, sometimes now your pension is not guaranteed. So people have gone into this gig economy. Nowadays, it's about showing your skill, not necessarily your qualification. And on top of that, if you're a business person, you're looking for pastures new, whether it's in the UK, whether it's in Europe. And now we've got Brexit coming on. Rather than thinking of Europe as a whole, we have to think about brand Britain. Wow. Why would you want to come and establish in the UK? What's unique about the UK to you? And if before the whole Brexit takes place, before that happens, you might want to come and just sow a seed in a form of a business investment. So we'll be talking to you about the different ways you can do that. So the main thing is, if you have an EA relative right now, you should jump on that bandwagon before it ends, which is the end of this year. So if you have an EA relative that you can depend on, or you have been depending on, that's one way. But since that ship is basically sailing out of the harbour, we have to think about levels of investment that you might want to make, or which routes you can take if you're from outside the EU. So one of the first ones is the Interpretive Visa, where you come in and you have to invest up to £200,000. So with that, you will get up to 3 years, 4 months, but there's the minimum levels of investment, and that one is quite high when you think about, £2 million. So apart from that, you might not have that money ready and raring to go. The government has this policy where the money must be within your control. You can't say, Uncle Tunji has it, or you can't say it's tied up in my other company, which is in Sierra Leone. It has to be seen within your care and your control. So the definition of how the money is being held, that it is within your control, has to be met. It cannot be so untransparent. It has to be very, very clearly within your control and ready for investment straight into the UK. You must also be prepared to come and establish. It's not a case of you send the money over, get the visa. No, you actually have to come and be here for a period. You can spend time outside of the country on holiday. You can spend time outside the country on business. These applications, apart from the minimum levels of investment, they have to be prepared well. One of the things is, it's not just throwing money and showing money. It's actually preparing the application well, showing the business plan, showing the strategy, showing that you are ready to actually come and commit. If you're showing that you have a level of investments elsewhere and you can't be seen to have the time to come and stand in and do your part, again, the Home Office might see this is not transparent. We can see that you're committed here, there and everywhere, and it doesn't seem like you're able to come into the UK. So everything must be prepared well, and I would say that you don't just throw money at it. You actually have to sit down, plan not just the business plan, but also plan how you're going to, let's say, do the market penetration and deliver, and be seen to be able to do it.
Interesting. Yeah, that's the the legal background. Or backstage, Mr. Onibanjo was telling Jennifer, don't talk law to me. Let's talk practicality.
Yes. So I will talk the law, but Mr.
You will talk the
Onibanjo will talk the business. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's the legal background for what we're discussing tonight. Business, well, the criteria you have to meet before coming over here to establish your business. Let's talk practicalities with Mr. Sam. What are the factors to consider when starting a business? There is a man out there, a woman out there who's got millions of pounds,
I've got
thousands
£2 million.
of pounds.
I want to come to the
I want
UK.
to come to London. I want to come to the UK. How do I go about this? What are the factors to consider in starting a business, especially in this part of the world we are?
Okay, well, the good thing is that this country is probably the most fluid country to start a business. So to register a company, open an account, those are not things to really sweat about. What you want to be thinking about is the sector you want to invest your money in, because you want that return. You want to be able to, you want your money to grow. Yes. You want like what Jennifer said, you want, when you put that money in, for them to see that this is a transparent business. Now, in this current age, I'm going to pitch you, the number one place to grow a business in the UK now is in technology.
Wow.
It's all about technology. Technology is what will make sure that Britain, outside of Brexit, stays at par. Any country that does not have technology is in trouble, and we are hungry as a country for technology investments. Wow. The premier technology investment you can go into currently is blockchain. Don't let that name throw you off, but blockchain is a technology that sits behind what we call cryptocurrency. So you've heard things like Bitcoins and Ethereum and all these things. I'm not saying go into those coins, but the technology that is behind it is based on a distribution network that is integral and trustworthy. If you are looking for a business to invest in, I would strongly recommend that you gravitate towards blockchain. If you don't understand how that works, then obviously you can actually email me or call Jennifer, and we can show you some of the people that are really creating a new valley of investment in the UK. Because prior to now, there were investment valleys outside in Europe. Lithuania, but there's a bid to make sure that the UK itself becomes the number one place. So if you talk blockchain, you're going to have a very, very good chance of being welcomed in this country. So in my view, the safest and easiest place is technology. That's what we need.
Okay, that's one of the factors to consider. What are other factors to consider?
Okay, so outside of technology, what you should be thinking about are businesses that can employ. So if you're going to take things easy, you can go for a franchise. It's a no-brainer. It already exists. When I say franchise, you can even be a petrol station. It's a model that exists. You can get a petrol station for less than £200,000. You can get, some other franchises. And with that comes a system set in place and staff that can work with you. So a franchise is easy. What I wouldn't want you to do is to come up with a good idea. No. Come up with a safe idea, a profitable business idea, not something to try, something that exists, that is robust, that is tested, that you can repeat. That's how to look at these things. And like I said, you can shoot us an email or you can call us here and we can give you some clear-cut examples of where you can invest your money. Jenny will tell you how legal it is and how you can grow it.
It's so important that you take these things on board. Number one, if you're coming in, even if you've got money, it's not good to throw money away. You want to go with something that is going to give you return, because you're going into business hopefully to make a profit, not just to swindle, or swindle money away. Now, with the franchise models, there's lots of, I would say, interesting conceptions you can have. You could have retail shops or food outlets that are near educational institutions, and that's almost a winner. Or if it's near a busy traffic route, so if it's near a station, again, quite a good winner. Food is a big thing. But when we're talking about the digital industry, now it's about digitalizing or dying. Right now it's about either you digitalize your business spec or you die like the dinosaurs. Wow. And one of the other interesting areas that you can come into the UK is actually the exceptional talent industry, exceptional talent category. And within the exceptional talent category, there is a specific section if you're a master of digital skills. So there is a route that you can actually come in within that particular category. So it's worth looking into. If you're in tech, if you've finished your master's or your degree and you're trying to develop an app, something that's unique, then you might want to look into that. It is quite restrictive. Sometimes you have to get a letter of reference from your certain, institution, and there's only a few institutions there. But the whole idea is look, and if you're in digital, then please think. The apps that are out there, again, property has gone. That ship has sailed. If it was 3 years ago, we'll be talking to you about investing in property. However, within the investment schemes in the UK, you cannot invest in a majority property-based business. So it has to be limited. It can be within estate management, but not whole of your money going into property, which is, there. But right now, as you've been told, digital is in. And at the same time, this cryptocurrency, lots of people are weary about it. Some people think that it's like, what will we say, like a pyramid sales scheme. So there's that word, but you're talking about the technology and the network element behind it.
Yes.
So people don't be confused between the two. This is not about the pyramid sale. This is about the network growth scheme behind it. So if you're worried, do look into the facts of it and get some certain information. And before you make any type of investment, you must go to a financial advisor and you must go to an accountant. Lawyers, we do the legal. Business consultants do the business. Financial advisors advise on investment. So get that very, very clear.
Wow. You guys should pay hugely for the information you're getting on this platform tonight. You should pay for that. Okay, Jennifer was talking about people coming into the country to do business. What about those who are here and want to start a business but are worried about how to generate capital?
On how to generate capital?
The investment capital. The initial startup can be tricky, but I know that Sam's very experienced with this.
I'll share a trick with you, and it's actually a no-brainer, but it's genuine and it works all the time. When you want to, if you're dead serious on business and you have your figures, so number one, you have to know your maths. If you don't know your maths, you don't have a business. You have to know your maths. That's number one. Definitely. But when you get your maths in place, right, you would quickly discover that you have what you call a cost of production or cost of purchase, a cost price, and you'll also have a selling price. So whatever it is you're buying and selling, if you've bought one unit of it, for example, £10, and you're selling at £40, so you make £30 in between. Do you know that if you were to tell people that, look, we've got this offer, it's an incentive. If you purchase this thing, which is meant to be £40, before I deliver it to you, for example, 28 days before I deliver it to you, I won't sell it to you at £40, I sell it to you at £28. Meaning they're saving £12, but you're making £18. So before you actually give people goods, you're already getting the money in. So you don't really have to go to a bank. When people say early bird sales and things like that, that's what it really means.
Pre-order system.
Pre-orders. It really means 0% finance. That's what it really is. It means you get the money in and then you can do it with that money. So you don't need a loan, you don't need to go and beg anyone, you don't need to roll on the floor. And that's why I said this is actually simple. But if you're not in the right tribe, if you're not in the right environment, you don't have the right tribe around you, you're asking the wrong people for information, you'll never get the right answers. So key to investments and getting these things in is to gravitate towards people that know what to do and are doing it. So my answer is stay in the right tribe, and I've given you one tip. I've got 10 of them like that, but that's just one that will help you raise finance to do a business.
So we're talking about traditional routes, loans, borrowing, overdraft are there, but you can also strategize, as you've just been advised.
Which is really smart. You don't have to worry your head about going to get loan from anywhere.
Doing business, yes, there's never a perfect time, but you do have to plan, and you do then have to be proactive. So strategy, people do their business plan, but they don't do the strategic plan. That's a very big weakness. Many of us want to have that brilliant idea, want to get going, but the strategy behind it, you've just been advised there how you can start a business with no loan, with no overdraft, by having a proper pre-order system, and that's amazing.
It's really amazing. Now, Dr. Jen, I want to start a business. I'm here in the UK or I'm outside coming in. What are the legal procedures to registering your business? There will be procedures to follow in we are not in Africa where you can put your gari and ekpa on the table in front of your house and say, everybody come, I'm selling gari and ekpa. Here you follow strict procedure to register your business. What are the registration
The
procedures?
funny thing is,
for business?
online, you can have a company registered like that. It doesn't take long. And even in Nigeria now, it's quite quick with the Corporate Affairs Commission to register a business online. So it's really about what field you're going into, whether there are compliances that you have to deal with, whether you actually meet those compliances, the regulations. For example, if you're going into care, you have to register with the Quality Care Commission. You have to make sure that you are compliant within the industry you're operating. Obviously, if you're coming from outside, you have to make sure you have the requisite visas before starting the business. I would say to you, if you're thinking about coming to the UK, first of all, do a business trip. Don't just come or send the money over. Come and check the ground. Come and check the facilities. Come and check the criteria in. I think we've got a call. So that's the first thing to do. So hello, caller.
Hi.
Hi, good evening.
Calling in for the show.
Yes, you're live. Thank you for calling in. What's your name?
My name's Clove.
Close. How can I help you, please? What's your question?
My question is, what, obviously they're great experts up there, what would they say the biggest mistake that people make when starting a business?
For me personally, I often say it's the lack of planning. The lack of planning. As I said, you have your business plan, which everybody talks to you about. Go and do your business plan. But your actual strategic plan, which is your 3-year forecast, how you're actually going to put in your policies and procedures, those little bits of detail are often not factored in, and that's where people tend to fall down. Not necessarily the finance. Many people who have quite good funding often still fail. And it's nothing to be upset about. Yes, it's distressing losing money and not being successful, but if you actually do your strategic plan and have cut-off points, time scales, you really, if it's not going right, it should be able to stop at a certain time. When you're going down the wrong road, it's worse when you don't realize and accept you're going down the wrong road. It's always best to try and realize your mistake, see if it can be corrected, and then move forward. And a strategic plan, if put in place properly with review points, should help you do that. So for me, the biggest mistake is not planning properly.
What will you say the biggest mistake?
All right. Thank you for your call. I think the biggest mistake out there is rule number 1, always trade minds. And by trade minds, I mean you have to be in an environment of people that know what they're doing. So you should have a coach or a mentor or a sponsor or someone that knows what they're doing. So you have to tell them what you want to do, and you need to listen. You don't tell them and just have a one-way communication. You have to say, and you have to really, really, really listen to what they're saying to you, because these people have been there and understand it. So I think the greatest shortcoming of anyone in business is not having the right people, not because there's an environment that you can listen to that won't benefit you, but there is an environment that if you trade minds with them, they would trade their commercial experience, their 10-year experience, 15-year experience, their highs, their lows. Those are the people that you need to have near you. Be it that this person has a degree or no degree, be it that they're male or female, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is that they are in business and that you are going to listen to what they say. And that way, I find that most of the gaps that happen will be closed up if you just obey rule number 1, which is to trade minds with people in that same sector.
So you don't go on doing business and thinking, I know it all.
I know it all.
Or they're going to steal my idea.
Or they're going to steal my idea. Or I've just finished my MBA, or I've got a first class. All those things don't work.
I have a first.
Practicality of
Doesn't work.
business.
I'll make you laugh. I'll make you laugh, Jenny. Do you know that I had this guy on, year 3 student, university, he on his way to a first in business. And when he came to do his internship with me, I took him out to see a client. When we got there, we were asking the client some things. This client started a nightclub. And then this intern said, "Oh, so where's your business plan so we can see it?" The guy said, "I don't have a business plan." The intern was shocked. When we left there, he said, "He doesn't have a business plan." I said, "Yeah." He said, But I was taught in university that everyone has a business plan. And I laughed. I thought, no, it doesn't work that way. Don't assume that academics are the same as business. They're completely different. There's some people that are they're just very, very hands-on. Please do not belittle them. Don't underestimate them. Key number one, trade minds. Listen to people that are successful. They will give you those nuggets that we use to succeed. That's my input.
Interesting. Yeah.
So, apart from planning, ma'am, we're talking about having the right people in your network. Your network is your net worth. You've heard it 100 times,
Wow.
and it is actually true.
Your
The people
network
you circle-
Is
is your network.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's why Jenny's in my network, you see.
Oh wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, what are the factors to consider in choosing a business? I'll start with you, Dr. Jennifer. I know you are a successful businesswoman running two companies.
I would say, the success is really about passion. If you're waking up every day to consider something, to do something, you must have a level of passion for it. Otherwise, it becomes a grind. It becomes irritating. You no longer want to wake up and deal with it. And therefore, it must be something that you are at least interested in. And some people fall into businesses. Some people get handed over business as part of their family. But people who actually create things, it's usually out of passion. Sometimes it's also out of need. You see a shortfall in the market. You strive to create a service around it or fill that gap. But generally, in order for you to work on it, you must have passion for it. So that's number one. Because if you're going to make it your daily grind, then it's got to be something you enjoy, that you believe in. So therefore, passion.
Interesting. Mr. Sam, I've got money. I don't know what business to do. What do I do?
What do I do? Some people say, I'm not sure what I want to do.
I'm not sure, but I've got the resources.
I like what Jenny says, but I'll add. I will deliberately take from another point of view. You should have what we call a why. When you are going into a business, there should be a purpose. Now, some people I've experienced start businesses because they do not want to stay at home. So I've met quite a few women that have started a business that they like. They have a passion, but they just don't want to stay at home. So they're not really interested in the cash flow. They're interested in getting up and going out and then, proving that they can do something. So they're people, so it's your why. And some people, they have started a business because they've seen a need. That here's a need, I want to fill this gap. Some people start a business because they just want cash. So the majority of people start a business to make money.
Exactly.
And that really is the purpose of business. But some other people have other values. So I want to make money, but I want to make this world a better place. I want to make money. I want to make the law system. I mean, look at Jenny. Jenny, as much as she's making money, I don't know how much she's got in her account, but I know she's got this large heart for the community.
Absolutely.
You see, and that's her purpose. I'm sure if she was purely commercial, she wouldn't be the same person. So I say that your why is really important. Why? So when I say why, I'm going to say it again. If you go to my Facebook page, Great Business Platforms, and you send a message, please send me your why. I'll send you a free podcast download on why. It will make you sit down with a piece of paper and just write. Why do you want to do this? You want to eat? Okay, that's fine. You want to employ people? It's fine. But you need to identify your why, and based on that why, you start to drive towards those goals. Then that passion kicks in. But number one, you have to know why. If not, what tends to happen is some people here, they're making money there, let's go. They're making money there, let's go. They're making money there, and then you become too thin, and then you don't achieve anything. So number one, think of your why. What's in it for me? And there is no answer that's wrong. You just need to identify what your answer is. So that's my input there.
That's 1. 2. Passion 1. Why 1. So 2.
Okay, now I would also say you've got to look at yourself. Is it going to develop you? Is it something that's going to develop you as a person? I know that might sound strange, but when you grow, whether it's mentally, spiritually, as a person, that's also quite important. I met somebody the other day that said that they've been in the same job for 10 years and they were unhappy. Wow. And I thought to myself, but why is it that you've not analysed that you're not growing as a person, in that you're not happy, you've acknowledged that. So the only person that can change your situation is you. And if you're fortunate enough to have the idea for a business, something you're passionate about, that's good. But also don't forget to yourself. in that whole mix, make sure it's something that you yourself as a person are going to grow in as well.
That's a good one. Number
Okay.
So
two,
personal development, in other
personal
words.
development.
I like that as well. I'll do a 2 and a 3 so I can outstrip her. Right. Do you know what? I love Jenny's points. They are so pertinent. They're key to all of this. But to add value to it, I think that when you're thinking about business, you should also, apart from thinking about your why, your personal development, you need to think about your marketplace. Think about the market. Think about, well, is there something that people need that's not easily available? If there's something that people need that's not easily available, there lies an opportunity. And this is important because some people think that starting a business really means having a great idea, but you don't have to. You can actually copy something else that people are doing. I know people that all they do is what we call affiliate marketing, which literally means I take your stuff, I'll take it and I add a margin to it and I'll just resell it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know, so in that case, your purpose is, I just need to make money. I need to,
margin.
and I want to have this lifestyle. I don't want to think about creating a business. So really, I guess I'm tying it back into your why. But wherever it is, you have an open field there. You have an open field. Once you've identified that why, which is so crucial, then you start to build anything else you want on it. And I think that's my double whammy input there.
Okay, interesting. Double whammy input. I hope you're getting the gist. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, you will be able to call in again and ask your questions, chip in your contributions, and let's just, they said great minds think alike. Let's rub minds together and see how we can better ourselves business-wise. Don't touch the dial.
When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. Obaseki Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpal.com.
Thanks for staying with us on your lovely program, Truth and Justice, with Dr. Jennifer Obaseki. Our guest today, Mr. Sam Onibanjo, has been, lecturing us. I'm actually thinking, let's do a business class. Let's put together because it's.
If I was technically minded right now, that's the area I would love to go into. But you're never too old to learn a new thing. But I just don't think I can get my head around programming. But right now, that is just the thing to be in. And not even that. As Sam has said, you might not be the person that creates it. You might just be an affiliate and sell on programs, sell on licensed programs to people that need it. And then the other thing is you might also decide to think about other forms of affiliate marketing where you're just packaging A and selling it to B. And that's as simple as it is. And as simple as it sounds, there are people making money doing
Millions.
that exactly same thing. Look out there, do your research. And many stay-at-home mums, and that's a point that you touched on before the break, have thought about how do I get out of the house, looking after children. So we've developed the mum entrepreneur. I don't know if any of you've seen that, the mummy millionaire, the mum entrepreneur. So these are mums that have had business ideas or latched on to different things. Some even just blogging from home, and they've made it a business by people coming to their page, doing advertising, different things. So never ever just think, oh, that's it for me. There are people that have made money just sitting down, even writing, not just blogs for themselves, but even filming themselves cooking. That's the other thing. The online digital industry is actually an endless, pot of different ways you can make money. So if you can imagine you're at home showing people how to make amala, jollof rice, and people actually then subscribing to your
Yeah.
program or your channel, and there's another way to make money. So yes, get your thinking cap on.
So you don't have to leave home to be a business person.
No, no.
Man or woman.
You see what Jenny said? I'm going to give you. I'm going to be very kind. I'm a nice guy. I'm going
Very
to give
nice.
you, I'm going to give you a very
Seriously,
good
very
example.
nice. Very
Nice guy.
Get on your digital, on your phone, on your smartphone. If you have Instagram, as an example, you can have a free Instagram page, absolutely free. On the top of the page, you have what we call a pipeline. A pipeline really is, it's a fancy word for a sales page, fancy word for almost like a single web page, right? If you have that there, and then, like she said, you're cooking, or you want to show people something, you show them a video for 30 seconds, they love it. If they want to see more, they just click. If they click
the
there,
pipeline.
they click on the pipeline. Pipeline just says, "What's your name?" Joe blogs. What's your email? Daryl blogs. Thank you. And behind it, you then give them, for example, a 20-minute video on how to really make this amala. Now, what has happened there is that they've just entered into your database,
Exactly.
and technology, the gold in technology is data. So once you've got their data growing, that's one source of business in itself. The second part is that from there you can start to upsell them subtle things. I can't go deep into it, but believe you me, I do this and I train my clients on this all the time. You can sell people on these things. So mums at home, very
And
little
dads.
money, and dads,
There's some of you.
sit there, Instagram, absolutely free,
Wow.
program it from your house. You can even teach people your language. So if you're from Benin, teach
Edo
people Benin.
State. We
Just
need more
teach-
people speaking Edo
teach it
language.
on-
We need people speaking Yoruba here. too.
You can teach it on Instagram and make money. So
Exactly.
it's not really, this is not rocket science. It's a technology age. It's a digital revolution. You
Wow.
don't need to go out there. You can use these things to make money right now. Yeah?
Interesting. People out there who's got money in every other part of the world who are looking into coming into the UK to do, have a business of their own. What are the categories of routes for which they can come into the country, and what's involved capital-wise?
Now, we did speak on this before the break. So you have your investor, okay? Now, your tier one investor has to have £2 million, and that has to be within their care and control, within their authority to use. And then you also have your let me just get this one. Yes, the entrepreneur visa, that's 200,000. So the difference is there, 200,000,
And
2
2
million.
million.
You've got to realize that, cut your coat according to your size. Even have a wise level that is easy to prove on paper. Don't stretch yourself. This one a bit better, same amount of time, 3 years, 4 months. So good, but one gives you an expedited route towards settlement. So the 2 million, you have an expedited route towards getting your permanent residence and going on to get naturalised as a British citizen. These applications are over £1,000. They're expensive, so it's important to get the paperwork right in any event. Then we did talk about the exceptional talent, as I've said, that does have its specific criterias. You must be either an experienced researcher, must be in the digital industry, or must be in the technical sector and have the letters to support from the relevant institutions. There are other categories, such as being an overseas representative. You can come in from another company and therefore just have your staff here in the UK. And if you're a director, you can be one of the staff here in the UK. So that's also important. These are also categories which your dependents can also come along with you. Then if you've been in the UK and you're a graduate, you can then convert also by doing a level of investment. But one thing is, it's important that you get consultation and get the right route for you. Most of these things, I would tell you now, it's not straight away you jump into one because you look on paper that you think it fits. It's best to have a proper consultation, best to have that look into the business and strategically making sure that it's going to be viable. And that's the best way to do that, is to have a one-on-one consultation with an expert. So you'll have our details on the screen there. Call us, book in, and because we've got such a large, field of experts at our fingertips at Obaseki Solicitors, most of our lawyers are graduates in more than one jurisdiction. Most of our lawyers speak more than one language. Most of our lawyers have masters and upwards qualifications, so you're really coming to experts. That's just the truth. And then we also have experience in different jurisdictions in Asia, in China, and in Nigeria, and in the UK, and on the European continent. So you're going to be coming in to let me say, a place where we're wanting just to help you. We're wanting to make sure that what you put your hands to succeeds, because then you will refer on, and that's how we grow our business. We grow by way of referrals. One of the things that you spoke about was, having the way to accelerate the business digitally. And often people don't know when to upscale. So if we can talk to people about, okay, things are going okay, you've established, you've got your sales coming in. Some businesses crash because they expand or scale up too quickly. What advice can you give to people about when to make that decision on upscaling
their business?
That's really, really good, because the truth is that if you upscale too fast, you crash. If you don't, you become a dinosaur. But one thing that is certain, in 2018 going forward, the backbone of every single business that's going to last the next 5 years is technology, right? So number one, we're in a digital transformation. So everyone has to have a digital transformation strategy. And what that really means is that every single part of your business has to be touched by this digital transformation. Jenny's question about the timing. The timing comes from you trading minds. I'm going back to that same statement. When you see, in business, you have to make sure that you communicate. Communicate with your staff. Ask them, what do they think? Communicate with your customers. And when I say communicate, I don't mean, people may think, how do I communicate? You have gifts, you have prizes, you have quizzes. Engage people, send things out. If you're selling something, you say, well, everyone that's bought something this month, you have a chance of winning what you've bought times 2. All you need to do is fill in this form, a digital form, and on that form, start to ask them, how did you find this? How did you find it? What do you expect to happen next? And when you start to look at what they're telling you, you need to listen to the voice of your customer, VOC. It's key, because you're in business to serve them. When people start to indicate towards you that there's something that they're looking for, that's a good indicator of where to scale. So don't scale based on what you think or a cheap deal. Listen to the customer, because they're the people that are actually employing you. Minus the customer, you have no business. No business, you're unemployed as well. So I think key here is trading minds by doing a VOC, listening to the voice of your customer, using one of these tools. And I would recommend use a digital tool. You send them something out, you can use a WhatsApp, you can use an email system, you can use an Instagram, but engage them. And at the end of it, they have to win a product of value. So you can turn around to, for example, to a restaurant and say, well, whoever wins this, we're going to give you a table for 2 at this restaurant, plus this. And make it real, so it's worth it. Not something that they don't really want, something that they really want. They think, oh, this is really good, and they will tell you the truth. So based on that data, you would then know what part of your business to scale. Okay.
Okay. Now we've spoken a lot about digital, the digital technologies, the digital revolution we're in. How you need to automate some of your business. So if you've got somebody on reception, taking calls, taking messages, booking an appointment, sending an email, you might want to find a program that can actually do all that for you, and you won't need to do any salary, PAYE or pension. Not that I'm putting people out of a job, but at the end of the day, this is how the world is moving, and that's a fact. Because if you don't do it, your neighbours are going to do it and have less overheads, and they're going to maybe win your customers. Customer service, though, as we've heard, is vital. The customer is always right. You've heard that, that saying, it goes on for centuries.
True.
But the one thing that we've got to also do when we're gathering people's details through this digital revolution is actually be responsible. And one of the things that the government has done to make sure that we are is bringing the GDPR regulations. Now, earlier in the year, I was asking people, are you GDPR ready? Half of the hands would go up in the room. Sometimes 1 or 2 hands would go up in the room, depending where I was doing the business lecture. And then sometimes I'd ask, are you Brexit ready? A few hands would go up. And as we said a few weeks ago, whether it's a hard Brexit or a soft
one.
Brexit, you've got to survive. So you've got to make sure you Brexit-proof your business one way or another. And some of the ways that I've spoken to people about Brexit-proofing their business is to have European trading partners, thinking about registering your business in Ireland so that you are still on the platform receiving the benefits. So these are things you've got to do. But GDPR is a non-negotiable thing. You've got to make sure that you're not in breach of these data protection rules. Now, I'm not sure if Sam's had any clients that have had any problems with it. Have all your clients and all the people that you've been mentoring actually taken their responsibility on GDPR properly?
Well,
Do any of them understand it?
I hope so. You know what it is? GDPR is this big fear that if you're not GDPR compliant, you're going to be in trouble. So everyone's like,
Get a fine,
whatever it
massive
is,
fine.
let's just become GDPR compliant. So, but the beauty is that if you use an email marketing software, most of them have updated and they give you the option to be GDPR compliant.
Okay.
Yes.
And what that really means is that if you had 1,000 people on your database before and you asked them to opt in and they didn't opt in, technically you need to just delete them, or you need to close it down and get a new list. And with your new list, what you should do is give them what we call ethical bribes. An ethical bribe is something, once again, of value that would make people want to register with you.
Want to commit,
Ethical
want to give you
bribe.
the details.
Yeah.
So,
in marketing,
it's
it's called
the truth.
ethical bribes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask the two of you one very important question before we go tonight. I'll start with Mr. Sam.
Okay.
Why is it important for a business to be very, very competitive?
Wow. If you're not
Competition.
if you're not competitive, you're not going to last. That's the simple truth. Be rest assured that every idea that you have, somebody else has the same thing. So don't think people are stealing your ideas. These things drop into people's minds, and the first person to act on it is the one that has the leverage. So it's incredibly important that you are consistently proactive, that you're dynamic, and that you use these things to be competitive. I'm going to go back to my old word of trading minds, which really means when you're in a business sector, you should be looking at what people in your industry are doing. You have to look at what they're doing, taking their best practices, and where you can tap into something that puts you ahead, you do it straight away. I'll give you an example. Last year, the year before last, I wasn't very digital. But in the last 12 months, there's been a digital revolution. I've invested like crazy and I've come up with all guns blowing. So anything digital, we are so ready. And what it's done is that it's made us shoot right to the front. There are tons of people in our sector, but we are far ahead because we have this digital edge that people are still grappling with. So it's your responsibility in your sector, wherever your sector is, to remain competitive, to learn cutting edge, to trade minds, to pay other people in your sector to learn from them. It may seem like ridiculous amounts of money, but pay them and listen. Every month, I know how much money I pay to other people because I just keep on listening and listening and listening. And this is what helps me stay ahead. So, in fact, I don't pay. I invest in myself. That's the truth. Sorry, I don't pay anything. I invest. And that investment always yields a return. So you have to invest to stay ahead.
Wow, you've got to invest to stay ahead. Jen?
Yes, well, competition is healthy. That's the one reason why you need to be competitive. It's healthy. It will make you realize that you have to improve your service. You also have to be able to accelerate and slow down when necessary. So that means taking control of your business in different ways. So when the field or the industry is slowing down, you need to know how to slow things down and diversify. Competition helps you stay ahead of the game. It helps you stay relevant. It helps you stay, financially liquid. Because at the end of the day, if you're stagnant and you're not competitive, you become redundant. It's as simple as that. So being competitive is a must. Improving on your service is a must. The other thing about being competitive, and again, discussing with people in the same field, is you learn how to collaborate. If you and I are doing the same business, and I did this example again in Amsterdam when I was doing a talk. Whether you're in car sales, whether you're in digital, whether you are a programmer and I'm a website builder and we come together, we're stronger.
Yes.
And if we're both doing hair and makeup, if we go to our supplier to buy, we buy at a stronger rate and we can have a better negotiating power. And again, if we're both in the same field and you're doing things one way and I'm doing things another way, I could either sit down and not tell you and get ahead of you, but the day that you learn to do something a better way, you won't tell me. So forging those relationships is also part of being competitive, because everybody that is in a field and is passionate about the field actually likes to learn from each other. And when you're passionate about something, you generally want to improve it together. You know, you improve the market for the benefit of all. And so that's another thing. Being competitive is actually being king or queen.
Being competitive is being king or queen. Wow, interesting. Now, before we go, our time is fast running.
Wow.
I have this saying that it is risky not to take a risk. Now, some people are out there who want to do business, but are just so scared of losing money. They're not prepared for the risk that comes with business. So what will you say about this issue of business risk? How do you minimize? How do you deal with? How do you avoid altogether losses? Big losses.
Do you know what? The issue of being scared of losing is a reasonable thought, but it doesn't actually start in your business. It's a reflection of your emotional intelligence. That's what it really is. It's your personal development, because you should be looking at that money as a seed and investment, not as something to lose. So if you feel that, well, if I put 10,000 or 1,000 inside of this and I can't lose it, there's either of two things. One, either it's above you and you cannot handle it, so don't go there. So don't even bother going. But if you can, do not perceive it as a loss. It's an investment. It's either you win or you learn. If you put in £1,000 and it doesn't materialize, you've paid £1,000 for that education.
Yes.
What would happen if you put 50 in and you lost all 50? You'd rather put 1,000 in and learn than 50 and lose. So your mindset has to be a growth mindset. You have to be of the opinion that I have to invest to do anything, right? So with that mindset, it will enable you to take better risks. And like I say, my favorite word, you will trade minds with other people in that industry, because you won't go in blind and say, I'm just going into this sector. You should be going into a sector that either you understand or your partners understand, and then you have to take that healthy investment, which you call risk. So I say self-mastery and social awareness is really important before you make any investments in business.
Investment risks, then.
Now, it's a very strange question you've asked, because on my wall, on the 25th of this month, I put accelerated success takes best effort and calculated risks.
Wow.
When you are confident in yourself and your skills, invest your time in being excellent and being unique. Living somebody else's dream is actually limits the definition of your own self. So basically, master your skills. The biggest asset you have is not necessarily money, it's time. So you've got to think about, how much time can I put into this? How much time do I want to put in this? And that's the same thing with the money. How much money can I afford to put into this at this stage? Do I have money to put in at a later stage when I've acquired things? So minimizing your risk is about planning. I go back to that. It's planning. And then at the same time, knowing your network, because it's your net worth, knowing who you surround yourself with to give you the advice on how to take one step at a time, and then how to accelerate that business. It's all about calculating those risks together. Now, as I say, the biggest asset for myself in business is time. How I choose to spend my time, how I choose to then think about how I apply the finance and the resources behind it or within that time frame. So again, planning. Budget is also a big thing we haven't really spoken about today, but it's again a number one thing. If you're running into something, you don't run in with endless piles of
Yeah.
cash. You run in with a budget, with a strategy, and then at the same time, you put that all together, and it's at a calculated risk because there's no guarantees in this world of anything.
Interesting. I've learned so much sitting between these two wonderful people this evening. And I seriously recommend you start. We'll go a caller. Go on quickly. We've got 2 minutes to go. What's your question? Thanks
Good
for calling.
evening. Thank you for calling.
Hello. Hello.
I just ask, as an EU citizen, if I don't have the UK ID, is it going to have any negative effect on me?
No, but you must get your residence card. Do get your residence card, and then if you're going to establish a business, make sure you register the business on time. You know, the Brexit deadline is February, and March we're out. So if you're an EU national, please do your residence card. Do the same for your dependents, and make sure you register your business structure. And if you need more advice on it, please feel free to email us.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
I was going to recommend to you before the call came in that you should start business classes. What do you think, Jen?
Well, Mr. Sam has
Seriously.
online webinars. Please tell us about them.
We've got 30 seconds to do
Okay, so as we speak now, if you go to my Facebook page, which is at greatbusinessplatforms.com, or my Instagram page at greatbusinessplatforms.com, you see some free webinars. I have about 6 of them. You can just log on for absolutely free. Pitching, business on Instagram, digital marketing, how to grow your business, profitable business ideas, how to access finance, all there. So at greatbusinessplatforms.com.
You rarely get things for free, so take him up on it. Get onto his Facebook page.
Thank you so much for joining us on tonight's episode of Truth and Justice. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank
Sam.
you.
Thank
We
you
hope
for
to have you on
joining
the
us.
show
Very grateful.
again.
Thank you.
Please get
Yes.
in touch with us. Email us, call us up, send us text messages on Facebook. You know, we want to connect with you. We want to engage with
exactly
you.
with the community.
We
And
really, really want to engage with
next
you.
week, it's all about other types of visitors, visas, family visits, medical, marriage. We're going to be talking about
All the
that.
routes.
All those other routes. This week was business. I hope you got your thinking cap on. Next week, family, visas, other issues that you might run into when you're dealing with those type of applications and appeals.
We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you
for
so
joining
much
us.
for joining us tonight. Thank you, Mr. Sam, once
Thank
again.
you.
We'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye.
When you're looking for a solicitor to deal with your case, you don't just look for any solicitor, you look for the right solicitor. An expert who knows what he's doing can deal with your case the right way, achieving the best results. Obaseki Solicitors has more than 100 years of specialist experience serving the local community in immigration law, property law, human rights legislation, civil and criminal litigation, family law, employment law, Sharia law, business law, maritime and commercial law, providing professional legal services globally in Africa, Asia and Europe. Be assured we'll be able to deal with your case the absolute right way with results. So, contact us today by phone on 020-7739-7549 or go online at www.legalpower.com. When you're looking for a solicitor